Good afternoon. This is Rodney Smith with another edition of Our Own Voices from the Speak Up Network, a part of Victorious Media, and we're at the United Black Men function here on Sunday, July 9th, and they just had a meeting, and a part of that meeting, I had with me, brother, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Murad Jones.
Murad Jones, and Murad Jones did something that many people in Las Vegas may not know about. And one of the local churches has a program that takes children out camping. And what I want Brother Murad to do is first tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got involved with the camping trip, and then to tell us about the camping trip.
Well, my name is Murad Jones. I'm 32 years old. I'm married, I have a wife. Actually, today is my anniversary.
Woo! How many years, brother?
Actually, 1 year.
1 year. You know what? 1 year is the first step to 30, 40, or 50.
That's what my wife said, 1 down, 45. And well, the way that I got involved with the camping trip, it was New Jerusalem Church. Elder Patterson came out and he said, hey, you brothers are out here, I need some help. We have about 35 to 40 boys that plan on going to Hurricane Lake, Utah, and we need more men to come out there and mentor, chaperone. With him only having about 5 men, he just said, any help I can. So, my brother Kareem Muhammad and myself, we went out there to support them.
Now, you mentioned your brother Kareem Muhammad. He's also part of the organization United Black Men. Tell us a little bit about the United Black Men organization.
United Black Men is exactly what it says. It's United Black Men, and oftentimes you don't hear of too many. You see us brothers come together, praise God, maybe, and other things, but maybe not try to enact changes in the community. And that's the goal of United Black Men, is to speak truth to power. And to organize and unite black men to do something in our community. The reason that we're United Black Men instead of United Black People is we believe more of the black men can stand up. A lot of the problems we can stand down. If we can stand up, maybe us black men, we can take, assume the role that God would have us. In our homes, in our community, become leaders, to our children and to other children. We can stand out some of these gang problems. Put our heads together. So that's our goal is to provide a more positive image of the black man and get down to business.
Now, you mentioned the United Black Men, you mentioned the camping trip. Now, one of the reasons why Brother Murad is with us because he gave pretty much an impassioned speech on the impact that the camping trip had on some of the young people. And I was wondering if you could share that with our listening audience on some of the stories about this camping trip and how it affected some of those young people.
It was an amazing trip. I thought, my perception, like I said, Elder Patterson from New Jerusalem Church on D Street here on the west side of Las Vegas, came out and asked for help, and I said, well, I'm a pretty decent guy, maybe I can go out there. And I didn't know that it would affect me more. It helped me more. It opened my eyes to, one, how blessed I am, to not have grown up with the Father and to not, become a statistic. It impacted my life. And when I was there, it really moved me to see so many young brothers that don't have anything. And it really, like you said, it broke my heart, to see so many young brothers that couldn't see the strength and the beauty, the intelligence they possess. A lot of the little brothers, we went around the room, a lot of the little brothers want to be basketball players, football players. We even had a couple brothers want to be professional hockey players, brother. I didn't know we did that.
We're branching out.
Yes, sir, we are branching out, brother, but what we were missing were thinkers, we were missing writers, we're missing journalists, we're missing historians, lawyers, scientists, teachers. Only 2% of all teachers are black men. And so that's what it motivated me not to wait till next summer. We want to try to do something like this more often to get these brothers. A lot of the brothers had never fished before. They never slept in tents. And it was very ironic because, there shouldn't have been too much irony because a lot of the young brothers that were there, they you know, some of them may not have had the experiences, but the little brothers that knew everything. We did a part of manhood training with the 15 and 16-year-old brothers. We have young boys from 9 years old to young men at 16, adolescents. And some of the brothers that, you know, when we popped the hood, they knew where everything was. They even showed me some things. So I asked these brothers, you know how to pitch a tent? You know, bait your hook, all of these different things. You're in very good shape, you speak well, you're articulate. You know, we went through basic things, you know, from personal hygiene to when I meet another man, I shake his hand and introduce himself, look him right in the eye, give him a firm handshake, you know. And when we saw that, when we asked the brothers, you know, who do you spend the most of your time with? A lot of the young brothers that seemed more squared away, they were with their uncles, their fathers, their stepfathers. One of the brothers said he spent a lot of time with the deacon in the church. And so that just motivated us to think, what can we do as united black men to step up and answer this call to be our young brothers? So it was a wonderful thing.
Now, you talked about the impact that it had on you, and I'm sure some of those young people learned some things too, but give us a sense of the young person's perspective. What did they get out of it? You had mentioned some of them had never been too far away from home.
Well, you know, the trip, it was put on by New Jerusalem Church under the leadership of Bishop Rogers. And he's a very good man of God, a great man of God, a mighty man of God. And the theme of the trip was the whole armor of God. You know, your helmet of salvation, your shield of faith, the breastplate of righteousness, the sword of spirituality. I learned all that when I was there. And, you know, a couple of the boys, like I said, these boys were very smart. They asked, well, what protects your back? And one of the little boys, he was anointed. You know, he knew the word. He said, God got your back. You don't need nothing. We going into battle. And that was very interesting to me as a veteran. You know, as a soldier, to just think, wow, nothing does protect our back because we're running toward it. So that's what a lot of the boys got out when we had breakout sessions, and we would talk to the boys about, you know, how can the helmet of salvation be used? It can guard our mind against evil, you know, and how can we swing the sword, you know, of spirituality? Well, instead of, you know, trying to fight back with words, maybe we can combat, you know, certain things with spirituality, rather than, you know, making it such a fleshly battle, because the battle is not flesh. So it was a wonderful trip just to spend this time with these young men. Some of the things I saw them get back was, you know, one of the main things was the handshake, introducing yourself. You have two names, be proud of them, and you know, always be reverent, God, to understand that we're always ambassadors. You never know. A brother may not, I may have never met a man like you. They may have never met a man that's married, a black man that's married now. So you never know who you represent. We should always know that we represent something higher. And there was another elder from our church. New Jerusalem Church was well represented there. It was their event. I actually don't go to that church, but they came out in the spirit of unity. You know, my brother Kareem and I, we went to support those brothers. So they had an elder from the church, Elder Connolly, and you know, he was another mighty man of God through the whole trip. He was always showing us the spiritual value in everything that we were doing. And so when we corrected the boys, he told us how to correct them the way that Jesus would correct people, and how to offer a loving rebuke, but also to uplift these boys at the same time and to be supportive. And you know, when it was over, you know, it was so many of these young men that I was just like, brother, let me call you up sometimes, or, you know, they're like, I'm going to follow you to see what you're doing. I was like, I want to follow some of these brothers, because these brothers were extremely articulate, intelligent. They just need someone. I would encourage anyone, you know, it doesn't cost any money to be a mentor. Sometimes just talking to a neighbor's child or spending time and just listening, you know, to go encouraging them on their graves, and maybe just saying, pull your pants up. You know, it goes very, very good.
You know, one of the things that we hear so many negative things about young children, and especially young minority children, ethnic children, that they don't have manners, that they don't know how to conduct themselves. What I would like to know is, now that you've had this interaction with them, do you have more hope for those young people, and do you have a greater appreciation for the role that men have in the lives of those young folks?
It's not like a younger It was very promising. Some of these boys, when they would stand up, they could just command a crowd. I mean, by mastering speech at 16 years old, they know how to tell jokes, how to crowd participation, and I would tell some of these brothers it's easy to identify with maybe, you know, Michael Jordan's, LeBron, well, that was my day, but LeBron James and Kobe Bryant's, but they may not know Tavis Smiley's or Rodney Smith's. And you know, like, these brothers know how to talk to people, and they're thinkers. And, you know, and exposing them to things. I have more hope now. I don't believe that these boys are, I believe that sometimes the media, it paints our children in a negative light. And you know, I heard a woman say that there are no good black men. There are no good black men. So, I mean, maybe they hear that in the media and they start to believe it and make it real. You know, perception precedes being. And, you know, but my perception after seeing my younger brothers, a lot of these single ladies that are raising their children are doing a great job. They need our help and our mentors, and they need us, and we should answer that call as brothers. But I haven't lost hope. I have a stronger resolve, and I believe that these brothers are going to be fine. We need to be there for them.
Now, you mentioned that this is normally done once a year at the church, yes. But is this going to be an initiative of United Black Men to take on,
yep,
and to maybe do it with a greater frequency?
Yes, sir. That's what we believe, and it is the Lord's will, and we're going to work on that. We believe that it's important to grab our youth. I was reading this, and one thing that he said is it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men.
Brother, look at the camera.
I'm sorry, brother. I was talking to you.
No, that's okay, but I want the audience to see your eyes as you say that.
You lost myself. I was just having a conversation with you. I apologize. But brother, you know, that was a very important thing is it's easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. And so we can go after our boys. You know, it's a sad epidemic. We have more black men in prison than we do in college. So, I mean, who does that leave to lead the households? Who does that leave for the women to marry? Who does that leave to defend us? Who does that leave to you know, I mean, it's heartbreaking. Anyone that doesn't care, I mean, we you know, or that this isn't a call to action and doesn't, you know, spur urgency, you must have lost your humanity and everything, and your love for yourself and everything. Because when I drive down the street, I mean, it sometimes is depressing, but if you can get past what you see with your eyes and you talk to these young children, they want to be successful, they have to drive, and the energy, if we can direct these young brothers to put that same 3-4 hours a day that they would spend in athletics into academics, and inspire greatness and not accept or celebrate mediocrity in our children, and our problems will work themselves out. We didn't get where we are overnight. But I do believe that if more men were to stand up and answer the call and to be men, those problems will fix themselves.
Well, I do want to thank you for being here. Now, you mentioned this is your 1-year anniversary.
Yes, sir.
Don't want to hold you too much.
Yes, sir.
I want to congratulate you on that 1-year anniversary.
Thank you very much, brother.
And your lovely bride.
Thank you,
because
brother.
It does take two to make this
yes,
thing,
sir, it does.
Work. And I think that as more folks get a chance to hear people like you, because what we do have is quite a bit of negative things out there in the media. But folks like you are the ones that are those soldiers. You mentioned you were a soldier.
Yes, sir.
What was it, Army or?
So I was in the Navy also. I was in the Army and the Navy.
Hood?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me shake your hand again and thank you for your service. We just had the 4th of July holiday. And so many people get caught up into the celebration of the holiday that they realize that every burger that they flipped came because there was a sacrifice by somebody just like yourself that allowed them to have the freedom to participate in those celebrations. So thank you for your service to your nation. Thank you to your service to your people. And on a day like today, thank you for being a man and serving your woman.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you.
Well, that's Rodney with another edition, actually the first edition of Our Own Voices, part of the Speak Up Network. and produced by Victorious Media. Hopefully we'll be able to bring commentary about things that's going on in our community that you may not see on the regular news stations or read in the largest newspapers. So thank you for joining us, and stay tuned to ourownvoices.com for another edition of Our Own Voices. Thank you.
Hey,